Peace and blessings, family. This is your boy Juro. It is the 4th of October, 2017. How is everybody doing? If I look a little tired, sound a little tired, it is because I am. My day did not end until almost quarter before this morning because I have to work. And we are in the season of the ant and the grasshopper. See, right now, the grasshopper is playing, is not preparing, is not seeing the value of your time, therefore cannot see its purpose. And there's a lot of clouded judgment going on. There's a lot of impulsive actions going on. There's a lot of deflection going on. But as I was working in the wee hours, because the government don't stop, military don't stop, I found myself pondering on the events that have been revealed these last 7 months. All the bad behavior, all the shock and awe, and has done nothing but validate why I am where I am and why my direction is placed in front of me. Because it is about free will, it is about choice, it is about will you see the importance of your legacy. But the one thing that I saw echoing time and time again is the fact that there is a distinction between being a follower and a leader. So it behooved me, because I wasn't going to put this video out, I needed to rest. But I know that somebody needs to hear this. Somebody needs, you want validation on how you feeling right now. And I hope that this video finds you. First of all, I hope that wherever you are well, and the clarity that is being given for the events that are being revealed as they hit home and make you feel a certain kind of way. Just know it is not out of fear. It is really out of preparation. This is that moment where whatever was off sync is going to be realigned, because let's be honest, there's a lot of things that are offline, out of sync, being celebrated. And no matter how disparaging it is, there's still a blessing in it, because you're being afforded to indirectly learn from what is being shown. That is, for some know, that is history. But I believe divinely that's what God is doing. He is showing you, he's showing mankind, did you get the message yet? Do you understand what you're seeing? And giving you the opportunity to make the correction. But being in society as we are, it is typical for us to embrace being chastised. Now, let's make this clear. If you have a relationship with God, you've seen that time and time again. You've seen and felt things that normally you would not take note, but it's there. Subtle at times, abrupt in others. You're being asked spiritually to decide. Because we can agree, all things done in the dark come to the light, right? So what would make you think that all actions, all choices are not accounted for? And I know there's somebody right now that said, Joe, I can't, will not, refuse to go back down memory lane because the truth of the matter is you're too afraid. You're too afraid to acknowledge where you were, what had influence, what was the impact. But isn't the outcome the reflection of what has come to be, the validation of where you are now? That is why I mentioned yesterday, you don't receive a reward. You won't find a badge of merit for playing the scapegoat, to be the martyr, to find safekeepings in victimhood. No. Only thing that will come from that is delay and non-accountability, which only does what? Give opportunity to the opportunists so that they can embrace denial. That's not your story, family. It never was. So it's not supposed to be comfortable for you. You won't find comfort until you find you. And that being said, I've got to speak on this because I know some habits, as they say, some habits are hard to break, but you'll come to realize those same habits are really nothing but your soul ties. Who am I talking to? When you strip away the allegory, that is nothing but what it is. So until you decide to acknowledge what is present, what is evident, you cannot change your mindset. You cannot change your environment because you must give yourself permission to be vulnerable. Your vulnerability does not come by way of association of who you lay next to, who am I talking to, who you are rubbing elbows with and breaking bread with. Nah, it don't work that way. That is nothing but denial of works still not done. And maybe that's the reason why you have that angst. Maybe that's the reason why your disposition is the way it is, because you're not finding the result and works done. Why? Because your environment is not keeping 100 with you. So if your environment is not keeping 100 with you, then that should tell you that's not the environment you should have been with to begin with. But more importantly, you will acknowledge that that same environment is also preying upon you. That's what opportunists do. What have I always conveyed? An opportunist does not need your help to expose themselves. What is required is for you to have the courage to acknowledge it. So, in other words, you can't find safety, peace of mind, especially on an emotional level. Because let's be honest. That is what majority of people want, to feel emotionally safe. Maybe that's the reason why that smile, that beautiful smile, is not where it should be. And It's a travesty that the last time you seen your smile was in a photo of days gone by. Why? We're talking free will, family. It's a choice. It's a choice to be bitter. But the truth of the matter is, most people that are bitter is because they won't let go of their pride. There's a difference between being proud and pride. Pride only brings setback and delay. Proud only validates what is priceless. We're talking about you. So let's shift gears. Queens, you know I love you. I do. But why are you putting so much effort to feed your insecurity? Why have you convinced yourself that the only way that you can find validation is you got to be like her? Sound like, walk like, talk like. But if you would just ground your feet, just take a second to go within, to connect with that little girl that still lives in you today. Tell her how much you love her. Tell her that you have not forgot your dreams. Let her know that she deserves to be treasured. How about she deserves to earn the right to have that last name changed? So why are you dreaming about being married? Don't you realize being married is a blessing? But if your mate doesn't have a relationship with God first, he can never have a relationship with you. He can't have a relationship with you because he doesn't have a relationship with himself. And guess what? I know some of y'all are in your feelings right now because you don't want to hear the truth. But the truth of the matter is, no matter how witty you may think you are, you can't make nobody do what they don't want to do. It doesn't matter how crafty and how much ingenuity that you are able to spawn through impulse. You can't sleep your way to a happy ever after. You can't swindle your way by using manipulation. And let's talk about that real quick. Because today's woman is very unique. But she's in a unique situation as well because instead of embracing who she is, she relies on all the intricacies before going within herself. And in turn, she's being manipulated. But here's the disservice of it all, because there's been a disconnect for the last 45 years because truth has not been preserved. Honor has not been embraced. And the woes to the woman has not become wisdom. Who am I talking to? You think your road has been tragic and hard? When's the last time you had a conversation with your mama? Who am I talking to? I guarantee if you sat down with your mother and had a heart to heart, she will tell you some things that would make you shiver. But the tragic thing about it is those woes can be wisdom, insight. Why? Because it is truly a definition, an example of love. And I say that because if you love someone, Oh, that's a sacred word. Why would you allow them to go through something you went through before? Wouldn't you protect them? Wouldn't you? That's what love is. But there's so much selfishness going on and conniving going on. And socially, the norm is don't be like you, be like we. But what you don't realize is we sit at a long table, endless, called misery. Who am I talking to? Why is it that your sexual knowledge is on the level of a PhD, but your common sense is remedial? Why is it is easier to be like Mike than be like you? You know there's a price for everything, King. I'm gonna spend this because y'all got money to make. Y'all got dreams to preserve. You got applications to do. So I'm not gonna take up too much of your time. I'm not. But I do this for you. The question is, will you hear it? Some people are walking around numb and comatose in their day to day because they refuse to embrace the person in the mirror looking back. They have dedicated their time, their money, their efforts in being someone that don't exist. And you know what's really sad? Instead of engaging in the insight that makes your knowledge, which will be your wisdom, you don't even take in consideration that the same path you're walking on, someone's going to walk right behind you. Just as the same path you walked on, somebody forged it. It's called your legacy. But you can turn it around when you decide to turn inside. So the whole gist of it is this. And I'm going to put it in a perspective so you can understand, because I know some people, their attention span is within 5 seconds. And, if they don't see no disrespect or they catch a whimper of the fact that he's talking about my betterment, I don't got time for that. But you suffer. You make time for that. You make time for putting drama before your destiny. You make time for the frustration because that person who does not give a damn about you has yet to call. You think you rightfully deserve that? Do you? Why? Because you're too busy worrying about what they look like, not what they possess as a character. Not be a character, possess character. That is what is that's nothing more than your self-respect, your self-worth, and your honor. That is also the definition of what grace is. See, you can't tap into your grace until you feel emotionally safe. And the only way you're going to feel emotionally safe, you must be peace. You must have peace within. Yeah, everybody wants to say peace. No, if you don't have peace within yourself, you'll never have peace in your mind. And if you don't have peace in your mind, guess what? Your direction will be in pieces. Millennials, listen up. Put the candle out. Stop burning it on both ends. Enjoy the road called your life. If I knew what I know now in my late 40s, yes, I'm in my late 40s, and applied them in my 20s, I would be definitely a multimillionaire. But I don't say that in regret because as long as I am above ground, I have opportunity. As long as I have that beautiful mind, I have perspective. And those perspectives make my passion. And as long as I place God first in everything I do, He will forge my direction. You do understand all things that are intended for your life don't come on day one. Some things you're going to go through directly and indirectly. Why? Because He wants to make sure you're prepared. So stop using coulda, woulda, shoulda, and say, I am. Because you're going to have a lot of people, they're going to convince you to treat your life like that candle and burn right through it. And you know what's going to happen? The people that are intended to be in your life, they won't be able to get to you. Why? Because it's spiritual, family. And the truth of the matter is, the moment that you took your first breath, your life was already written. The spiritual seal was placed over your life. So, what makes you think that the devil doesn't know it? Do you actually think that you're going to have a clear lane to your dreams? No. Mm-mm. And I understand because there are going to be people that you see that have given their lives to be in the public forum. All I can say about them is I pray for them. But watch how their lives unfold. But do not get obsessed. Focus on yours. And when you decide to focus on you, you'll see how beautiful you really are. You'll embrace your insecurities because your insecurities is what makes you unique. See, right now, society wants you, queen, to be the physical manifestation of the Jezebel. And they're going after our babies, our little girls, and our little boys, especially you, queens. Society wants you to burn yourself out, have as many conquests. But what they don't tell you is for every person that finds their way into your into your secret garden, they're also going to bring their spirit too. And in turn, they're going to unlock your tears. They're going to access your doubt and they're going to play with your fears. So while you hear our beautiful little girls running to social media like their dads, you notice that? A lot of women on social media today, but if they if you ask them, how's your relationship with your father? I guarantee you 95% of them would tell you they don't have one. So social media becomes the therapist. Social media becomes the enabler. But social media does not and will not show accountability. It is nothing but a tool. So, do you know who you are? If you did, you will protect yourself. Now, that does not mean you will not be tested, because just as I said, the devil knows your lifeline, he also knows your temptations. So every time you allow the words to fall from your mouth, I want. Notice the word want has no love in it. There's no honor in it. It's pretty much lustful, actually, when you think about it. But it's really a consolation of what you need. Who am I talking to? You remember the moment when you said, I want him. And what happened? The devil brought you somebody that looked, sounded, or acted only to delay you, only to exploit you, only to leave you stuck. Let me tell you something. Even if you're in a position where you feel that your life has rock bottom, you know what happens when people rock bottom? They finally look around and they acknowledge two things. The people that said that they were there, they're not there. And the second, they realize that they are standing on their foundation to build it up. So the choice is yours. But I got it, because socially, there's a lot of social prostitution going on. Listen to the music, family. Don't let the beat sway your mind. Listen. But that's the norm. That's what's that's what you're digesting right now to convince you. No, if the guys can do it, I can do it. You're the flower. That doesn't mean you condone the behavior, because as long as you condone the behavior, guess what? Your husband can't get to you. Your name won't change. And yes, I know somebody's thinking this too, but I'm praying that, Gerald, I, I'm going to keep this child, so we're going to be together. If he doesn't love himself, guess what? He does not love you. He enjoys what you do, and he will never build your life up. He actually is blocking it. Now, on the flip side, this does not give you permission to disrespect yourself for a choice you have made. Because you got a lot of broken little girls that happen to be broken mothers and don't even take in consideration of the context of the communication that you have around your children. So, in other words, mama dearest, if you got a bunch of male friends and that's where you are in your life, protect the innocence of your daughter. Because as long as she's seeing Mr. Pat and Mr. Jim, Uncle Steve coming in and out where you lay your head, she's going to say, that's what a relationship is. Because she's learning from you. Why wouldn't you? You are the most influential person in a child's life, the parent, or the person that is in that child's life. You are molding their perception. So right now, the flavor of the month is let them see you in all your splendor, not let them understand you from your mind, which I think is really ironic. Yeah, my skylights is the sun. And I was like, what's going on? You can see me now, huh? I feel your energy. I wish he would move. I did. But guess what? Society wants to convince you to put a price tag on your vagina, queen. Come on now, listen to what's out there. It's trying to convince you, put a price tag on it. And then the excuse is, well, I want a man that's got six figures and he's got this and got that and got this, but you don't have none of it. And you know what happens? You get frustrated. Well, but you don't realize something more spiritually sinister is going on. Because that is coming from your spirit, it's only going to attract Johns. So anybody that come around is going to be sniffing under your skirt. They're going to play the role until they wore you down so they can wear you out. I know you don't want to hear this, but I'm saying this out of love. If that man does not have a relationship with God first, he will never have a relationship with you. And here's the irony of it. The society won't tell you this. Maybe your parents haven't told you this. And this is not to knock your parents, because your parents are dealing with the mentality that they had when they had you. So in other words, if your mama had you when she was 16, she wasn't even grown herself. She's still going through the motions of womanhood, manhood. You think that happens with all the other cultures? No. Meanwhile, they're laughing at you because they're making money off of your ignorance. But I felt this since day one this year. And I told you, we are in the season of the ant and the grasshopper. The grasshopper is going to do everything that it needs to do, then prepare its life. And when the seasons change, and they will, the grasshopper will ultimately be left out in the cold, or worse, left out of their own lives. But let's go back to the perspective, and I'm going to shut this down. You do understand that everything we do has a repercussion. You do understand it, right? So if your environment is, I'm just going to smoke as much as I can smoke, and I can drink as much as I want to drink, have you not considered how and the effects of when that's going to affect you? How about your DNA? How about your physicality and health? You do understand the addicts, the those who did drugs, those who did out who just you were binge drinking, those who were sexually active, you end up becoming the future patients 20 years from now. You do understand that, right? Drinking like a fish because that's the cool thing to do. It's accepted. It's only accepted because that's the environment you're in. But you ask those same people, hey, let's go to the gym, let's work out. Hey, let's go take this class over here. Or better yet, hey, why don't you pray with me right now? No, because these are all distractions that you're choosing to embrace. Meanwhile, when the pain gets too heavy and that emotional backpack gets too hard to carry, that's when the numbness comes. That's when the denial sets in. You hear, shoot, I don't need no man. I'm fine where I am, but you miserable. You know how you miserable? You know why? Because you got that special little drawer right over there with your friends in it that don't talk back and ready to go. Why? Because you're not prepared to receive your mate. And that's a disservice. Because you do understand this. Let me make this clear, Queen. I told y'all, stop looking for your man. I told you that. I've been echoing this for 5 years. You know why? Because that spiritual man is going to have the key to unlock the other side of your life. He's also going to already know inside his spirit what is required to protect your heart, to continue to have that smile, to inspire you so your life won't be stagnant. Your life ain't supposed to be that mama is standing on the other side of the screen door because you got your kids ripping and running and they have no control nor discipline. But you don't have any control and discipline in you. Doesn't mean you can't. It's because you choose to remain in that state of mind. So while you see your girlfriends and out there putting their bodies on display for the lowest bidder, oh yeah, why you think Instagram ain't complaining? Why? They're making money off of you for free. And what option do you got? You're gonna be a stripper, which the money comes quick and hard, but it's short-lived. And yes, they got hang-ups galore because you're putting yourself out in an environment you ain't supposed to be in. So you're dealing with a different character of people that do not care and only wish to exploit you. But I understand somebody said, "But Joe, I want a model." Then do it right. Do it right. Get yourself an agency. Get you somebody to represent you. Because guess what? Modeling ain't for free, family. But guess what? The perverts like that. They like seeing you in your birthday suit. They like to see you playing with your toys and having the audacity to get mad because Charlie didn't leak the video on the internet. I told y'all that too. As long as you use the internet, your business is for anyone to see because you don't own the internet. You use it. So guess what? Your passwords, your annual security fee, that's for your edification or your peace of mind. But really, if the government wants to, they'll go right in your stuff like that. But the funny thing is this, you don't think about that, and you continue to play the game that you play. And you're disappointed on the outcome that you have. And I'm not making light to your heartache. What I'm trying to get you to see is to love yourself more. Maybe now, if if you decide to invest in your life, two things will happen. The distractors, better known as the opportunists, won't have access to you because you're realigning your direction. And you'll know that because their attention span is even shorter because when they realize that you're focusing on you, they take the focus off of you. But they don't let you slide. They watching what you're doing. That's why I told y'all, don't worry about the people that you didn't have relationships. Don't worry about them. You will see them again. You will. If you're holding your breath for that, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. Anybody can say that. Actions speak louder than words. But don't worry about that is because what ends up happening is those same transgressions, somebody teaching them 10 times over. Oh, you want to cheat? Every boyfriend you got cheating on you and cheating on your self-respect. Why? Because they will rationalize it as, We're just dating. So basically, they're saying just something to do. How cavalier that is to play with someone's lives. That's why it's very important to be transparent with yourself. If you can't be honest with you, why would you have the audacity to expect your environment to be honest back? That's how it works, family. We are what we attract. That is how wisdom is forged. You learn from your experiences. Some of y'all know that is your personal history. No, that's God's way of validating how much He loves you because you woke up. Choice is yours. You can end up being like them. And like I said, if you're too busy, you want to be like Mike, because Mike is Mike. And I'm using that metaphorically. Or you want to be like the flavor of the month. Just watch how their lives flip around. You can't buy happiness. You can't buy peace of mind. And I guarantee you, those people that using the social media as their means of income, they would give it all back if they could just have one day that they were happy. God's praying for you. You know I am. I see your worth. And for that, it helps me discern mine. Queen, stop listening to the rhetoric of them. Yeah, he calls you out your name. You know why he called you out your name? It's because he was never supposed to hear you breathe to begin with. Love yourself more.